streets of Jerusalem. Now, according to the United States executive branch, I might be walking through a city called Jerusalem, but I'm not walking in Israel. Because according to the United States executive branch, Jerusalem is not part of Israel. Now, this looks like Israel to me. I see Hebrew everywhere. I see Israelis everywhere. All types of Israelis. There are even Arabs and Muslims walking around on the streets of Jerusalem. But, according to the American government, this is not Israel. The State Department officially said they do not recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Not only that, anytime an American government official comes and visits Jerusalem, they try very hard not to say that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. They might say we're in Jerusalem. They might say we're visiting Israeli government officials in Jerusalem, but they try very, very hard not to say Israel. Guys, welcome to Jerusalem. Now here's the thing. I'm blessed to have 4 children. Welcome. Like I was just saying, I'm blessed to have 4 children. 3 of them were born in this holy city, in Jerusalem. By the way, this is King George Street, Rehov HaMelech George. Alright, this is a main thoroughfare in this holy city of Jerusalem, King George Street. Here's one side of King George Street. Here's another side of King George Street. So, as I was saying before, I'm blessed to have 4 children, 3 of which were born in this holy city of Jerusalem. Yet, guess what? On their passports, on their U.S. passports, because my children are U.S. citizens, since both of their parents are U.S. citizens, so our U.S. passports say that they were born in Jerusalem, but no country. It does not list Israel, it only lists Jerusalem. Alright, now, this is cool, watch this. We are now at one of the main thoroughfares, the main cross sections of the center of Jerusalem. We were walking down Melech George, and this is now Yaffo Street, or Jaffa Street. And here we see the Jerusalem light rail. Now, can you guess why this is called Jaffa Street? It's called Jaffa Street because the center of Jerusalem, when we're going to walk towards the actual center of Jerusalem, is the old city of Jerusalem, where the Temple Mount is, where the temples stood. And the old city of Jerusalem has gates around them, and the one gate towards the direction of Jaffa is called the Gate of Jaffa, and this is the road that comes out of the Gate of Jaffa. In a sense, if one continues all the way down this street one direction, you get to the old city of Jerusalem at Jaffa Gate. If you continue the other direction, out of Jaffa Gate, out of the old city of Jerusalem, then this takes you all the way to the city of Jaffa on the coast of Israel. This is the center of Jerusalem, but not Israel, if you'd listen to the American government. So, here's the thing. For centuries, the only people who cared about Jerusalem, the only people who had a capital city in Jerusalem, the only people who lived here from time immemorial were the Jewish people. That is Jerusalem. And here's another thing. most of the history of Jerusalem was only the existence of the old city. The whole existence of this holy city was within the walls of the old city of Jerusalem. That's it. Today, if you look at a map, the old city of Jerusalem is only a small part of the whole city. The modern city of Jerusalem is gigantic. The largest city in Israel today with population. And the old city is only a small part of the overall modern city of Jerusalem. Yet, for the majority, the vast majority of the history of this holy city of Jerusalem, the only physical part of Jerusalem was the old city. Until when? Until the end of the 19th century. Here we go. Some music at the bottom of this center of town area. Just playing some music here. Here is a nice promenade, the center of town of Jerusalem. It's called Ben Yehuda. It goes all the way up. Here we are at the center of the modern city of Jerusalem. So as I was saying, majority of time this holy city only was the old city. And that was until the late 19th century. I think it was the year 1891 that the first houses were built outside of the old city walls. That's it. Until 1891, the whole existence of this holy city was within the old city walls. What we're walking through right now did not exist before 1891. So where did this terminology come from of East Jerusalem and West Jerusalem? Jerusalem was always one city. One city, one unified city. Until 1891, it was one unified city within the old city walls. And here we hear a train coming down. It's going to pass us in a minute. Driving down Jaffa Street. So when did all of a sudden this East Jerusalem and West Jerusalem come into creation? Again, until 1891, Jerusalem was one area within the old city walls. So it was only created, this term, East Jerusalem, was only created after 1948. Why? Because the Arabs waged war to destroy the Jewish state, to destroy and kill all the Jews. And as a result of them losing that war and Israel winning, Jerusalem was then divided in two because the Jordanians illegally occupied half of Jerusalem, the eastern half of Jerusalem. And it's from that point in time, only in 1948, you're talking about a city over 3,000 years old. In 1948 is a blimp in time. Here's the light rail of Jerusalem. And here we are on Jaffa Street, the light rail of Jerusalem passing by us. The holiest city in the world with some of the modern traveling technology here. Walking down Jaffa Street. So for over 3,000 years, this city was one united little city. And yet, starting in 1948 until 1967, the holy city of Jerusalem was divided in two. Here we are, just walking down the streets of Jerusalem. So for 19 years, and the overall 1,000-year history of this holy city, Jerusalem was illegally divided. And the Jordanians illegally occupied the eastern part of Jerusalem. There was actually a wall that divided Jerusalem in half. In half. Like the Berlin Wall in Berlin divided a unified city in half. So there was a wall and fences dividing the unified city of Jerusalem that was holy to the Jewish people for over thousands of years. So this term, East Jerusalem, was a made-up term because of an artificial situation in history where the city was divided because the Jordanians illegally occupied half of our holy city. And then in 1967, when Israel liberated all of Jerusalem and all of Judea and Samaria, and guys, again here we're still on Jaffa Street, and wait till you see where we're going. Stick with us. Wait till you see where we're going. So we have a great comment here from Neocon Atheist 5. I'd love to visit Israel, but I think it's too dangerous. Neocon, look how dangerous it is here. We live, and we live normally. We work. We play. We have fun. We go to theater. We travel the light rail system. Come visit Neocon. Israel is an awesome country. Don't trust the news. It's one of the safest places in the world, even with the terror that happens every once in a while. Here we are. This is City Hall of Jerusalem, folks. Right here, where all the palm trees. That's City Hall. All right, Neocon. You can't trust the news. Israel is one of the safest places in the world. Believe it or not, even during wartime and during the summer we were living here, I wouldn't want to be anywhere else in the world than in Israel, even during wartime. We protect our own. We do everything we can, and life here is normal. Look at everyone. This is Jerusalem, here, middle of the street, middle of the light rail. We're right here. And hold on, folks, wait till you see where we're walking. Wait till you see it. Anyone who was here in the beginning knows that this is Jaffa Street that connects Jaffa Gate of the old city of Jerusalem to the city of Jaffa. That's why it's called Jaffa Street. And wait till you see what's coming up. So again, we were saying the terminology of East Jerusalem was an artificial terminology for a blimp in the history of the city. One second. Neocon says again, I love the Jewish people. I'm just not crazy about your neighbors. Neocon, awesome comment. Awesome comment. I want to tell you, I love the Jewish people too. I'm not so crazy about my neighbors either, but I live with them, and I go shopping with them. I drive the streets with them. Some of them are crazy, and unfortunately the world lets them get away with all their violence and terror. But one day we're going to overcome all that. And in the meantime, you are more than invited to come visit this holy place, guy. It's an unbelievable country. It's a beautiful country. I don't know if you guys could see where we're walking, but ahead of us, we're already starting to see the old city walls of Jerusalem. Right ahead. We're almost there. So again, only for a 19-year period did there exist a term East Jerusalem, because the Jordanians illegally occupied the eastern side of Jerusalem. Other than that, it's a city. It's a united city. It's always been a united city. And it's a crime that people use the term East Jerusalem. There is no just like any city has different sides, but that Jerusalem should be divided? Should Berlin have been divided for generations? No. It was an aberration of history that Berlin was divided. It was an aberration of history that Jerusalem was divided. It's one city that's supposed to be one, and it's the Jews' capital. For 30,000 years, King David made it the first capital of the Jewish Commonwealth 3,000 years ago. So who's telling us that Jerusalem shouldn't be the Jewish capital today? Obama's telling us that he can't recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. Guys, here we are. Now we're on Rehov King David Street. Why is it called King David Street? Because King David is one of our icons of Jewish history. Folks, here we are. Go straight to King David Street this direction. Go straight. This is Jaffa Street in this direction. We go straight this direction where people call where the eastern side of Jerusalem. We go straight. And here we go. The old city walls. Here we're at the old city of Jerusalem, folks. Right here in front of us. And there we have City Hall of Jerusalem. You are here with a virtual tour walking through the streets of Jerusalem. This about why is the term East Jerusalem used? Why do they want to divide our holy city? And again, guys, until the year 1891, everyone lived within those walls. There was nothing in Jerusalem outside of those walls until 1891. the first community was built outside of these holy and ancient walls was in the year 1891. Here we are, guys. Palestine, in order to erase any connection of Jews to this land from the history books. So why was the term East Jerusalem created and used? Because they're, again, the world, the Arabs, they're trying to disconnect the Jews from our connection to Jerusalem, our holy. Ahead of us is an area that was the first community built outside the walls of Jerusalem. So the bottom line is we cannot continue using their terminology of East Jerusalem and Palestine that breaks the bond, breaks the connection, breaks the 3,000-year connection of the Jewish people to our ancient homeland, to our ancient holy city, holy capital city. We cannot do that. Here we go, right in front of you. And you're in for a treat. You see all these modern stuff right here? Over the next few days, there is a special Festival of Light in Jerusalem. Check out the signs here, all the banners. Festival of Light. Look at all this stuff. At night, these things all light up and the place is beautiful and stunning against the beautiful, ancient old city walls. Unbelievable. Alright, we have a comment. Obama wants to divide Israel, not the American people, I promise. Neocon, you're the man. We know. Many of the American people know the truth. Many of the American people know that this is the Jewish homeland. Many of the American people know that while we want peace, our neighbors do not want to live in peace with us, and the peace talks are going nowhere, and it's the Jews who always compromise, and it's the Arabs who always say no. And we know that dividing our land is the worst thing that can happen for everyone. Guys, look straight ahead. That is Jaffa Gate. We are here. We are here at the old city. That is Jaffa Gate, and when you walk out of Jaffa Gate this way, and you go all the way this direction, you get to Jaffa Street, and straight, and you're all the way to Jaffa and Tel Aviv and the coast. That's why it's called Jaffa Street. That's why this is called Jaffa Gate. And we are here. So yes, Neocon, we know that it's Obama who wants to divide Israel. Unfortunately, there are plenty of American administrations and plenty of governments around the world that want to divide Israel. Everyone has it that somehow they want to weaken Israel, they want to weaken the Jewish people, but we're not going to let it happen. We are here, we're back in our homeland, we're back to make it strong, we're back to make it a beacon of light to the world. Guys, we're entering Jaffa Gate. You are entering the old city of Jerusalem. You are coming in through Jaffa Gate at the old city of Jerusalem. Here we go, and we turn, and they're taking pictures, and we are in. Welcome, guys. You're in the old city. You are in the old city. Yes, so Neocon writes, it burns my behind that Obama says he is the closest to a Jew. Yeah, he knows what to say. He knows how to get many progressive Jews to want to trust him and support him. But we also know that he is not telling the truth. And he very much has supported the Arab, Muslim, jihadist world since he took office, with his talk in Cairo and inviting the Muslim Brotherhood, and his supporting the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt, and is not supporting the Iranian revolution in Iran that could have overthrown the mullahs. He has consistently been supporting the most jihadist elements of both the Sunni and Shiite worlds here in the Middle East. And here we go, guys. This is called the Tower of David up there. It's a beautiful museum. When you come to the old city, you'll be able to go into the Tower of David. And here we are in the middle of the old city of Jerusalem, and that comes peacefully, safely. Again, every once in a while they're crazies and they're terrorists, but 99.9% of the time life here is beautiful and safe, and you can't miss visiting the holiest city in the world. So now I'm going to be turning around because I am blessed to live in this holy city. I don't live, sorry, I'm blessed to work in this holy city, and I have to get back to the office to continue my work for the rest of the day. And what's my work? My work is sharing Israel, the truth about Israel, the excitement about Israel, the truth about the peace process that unfortunately many of the politicians and journalists decide to ignore, and sharing it with all of you. via the internet, via our website, IsraelVideoNetwork.com, via Israel Straight Talk Videos. We're here to help share the truth. And we need all of you to help us share all the truth. So we're going to walk out of Jaffa Gate here to exit the old city. Here again is the Tower of David. We'll walk out and we'll see the Tower of David from a different angle, from outside. There you can see modern Jerusalem. That right ahead of us was the first community built outside these ancient walls in only 1891. Remember that, folks. The history of Jerusalem until 1891 was all within these walls. Until 1891. That community over there is the first community built outside these ancient walls. So no one should be telling us that Jerusalem doesn't belong to the Jews. No one should be talking to us about it, East Jerusalem, that doesn't belong to the Jews. All of Jerusalem was in there until 1891, and it was the capital of the Jewish people for 3,000 years. And here is the Tower of David up here. Here's the Tower of David on the outskirts of the old city walls, right here near Jaffa Gate. I want to thank all of you for joining. I want to thank all of you for being interested in seeing Jerusalem and hearing the truth about Jerusalem. Please come. Neocon writes, trust me, I spread the truth about Israel-Palestinian conflict every day. Thank you, Neocon, very, very much for helping spread the truth. And the first truth we have to do is we have to stop using the term Palestine or Palestinian, because there is no Palestinian nation. There were Arabs who lived in the Mandate of Palestine, just like there were Jews who lived in the Mandate of Palestine. And one of the biggest misnomers is calling them Palestinians. There is no Palestinian nation. They're Arabs. They all came here. Most of them came here only because the Jews were building up this land in the 19th and early 20th century. And then the Arabs came from all over the Middle East because they had jobs here. That's the truth about the quote-unquote Palestinians. So we have to call it the Jewish-Arab conflict. And the Israeli conflict with her Arab neighbors, because it's the whole Arab world, it's the whole Arab Muslim world that doesn't want us here. There's no Palestinian Arab nation that wants a state. They just want to destroy the existence of Israel. It's all about the terminology. We have to stop saying West Bank. We have to stop saying East Jerusalem. We have to stop saying Palestine. All these terms used to disconnect the Jewish connection to the land of Israel. And it all starts with these words. It all starts with how we talk. So folks, thanks for joining. Neocon, I agree. You're the man, Neocon. Follow me on Twitter. Let's stay in contact and let's keep on spreading the truth for all to hear. I'll sign off for you with a last view of a holy city, of old city of Jerusalem. Keep on following us at AviAbelow on Twitter to check out our meerkats and follow on the truth of Jerusalem. I'll give a little goodbye. Goodbye from the holy, united city of Jerusalem. Shalom.